Today, we are excited to feature an insightful conversation with Eric Harshman, a certified grounds manager, CGM, and certified sports field manager, CSFM. With over 15 years of professional experience managing university landscapes and sports fields, Eric brings a wealth of knowledge that homeowners can truly benefit from. His expertise has earned him two prestigious Sports Field of the Year awards from the Sports Field Management Association, SFMA. Currently, Eric serves as a project manager and sports turf specialist for SSC Services, where he continues to lead innovative turf management practices. Join Kevin Mercer and Eric Harshman for this in-depth interview designed to provide homeowners with practical tips and expert strategies for maintaining healthy, sustainable lawns. This is a conversation you won't want to miss.
Eric comes from a long history of sports field management and grounds and landscape management, and I'm honored to have him here on the program. He has won Field of the Year for the LSU softball and for the University of Kentucky softball. That's pretty impressive, winning two Field of the Years there, Eric. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
Again, as I mentioned, he's a certified sports field manager and a certified grounds manager. He is an account manager for a company called, help me out here, Eric. What company were SLCC?
SSC, Services for Education.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, George is going to give me a hard time for this. If he sees this. Eric, let me bring up my questions here because I got some questions I want to ask you for the homeowners. And
Sure.
First of all, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I live in Lexington, Kentucky. Happily married for 20 years now. I got three amazing kids. So when I'm not out and about helping people solve their problems on college campuses and K-12 accounts, I'm staying busy at home with my three kids and my wife.
Yeah, and I enjoy watching those pics you put on Facebook. Your daughter is quite the athlete. But does she get that from you?
No, absolutely.
I get it.
There's a reason why I take care of fields and not play on them.
That's right. So tell the homeowners out here, how did you get into the professional grounds management, Eric?
Yeah, so I started actually in golf years ago. My wife's family owned a golf course, and I kind of started doing that a little bit here and there. And one thing kind of developed and led to another. Worked at the family owned golf course, and then moved up into a private golf course in Louisville, Kentucky. Did that for a couple years. Got into professional baseball, and then it kind of just elevated from there. Went from professional baseball. I went and managed Division I college athletic fields at both Louisiana State University and at the University of Kentucky, and then got back into professional baseball again just to see if that's where my heart was at. It was not. I had a really young. My family was growing at the time, and actually that's when I got into managing college campuses. I managed college campuses at two different venues for 8 years for 8 years, managing college campuses, dealing with everything from the horticulture, your landscape, to the turf, to snow removal, leaf removal, all the athletic fields, everything in between. And now currently working for SSC Services for Education, where I travel around from coast to coast, and I work with our accounts, a lot of different things, training, education. I act as an interim manager if I need to. If we're down a manager, I can be the manager on site. A lot of logistical challenges that they may be having, I can help answer questions and guide them on things. So a little bit of everything, including I put on the sales hat and do a little bit of the sales and the bids and proposals. And so I just do a little bit of everything now.
I've watched you through your Facebook posts when you're at that college in
In Berea.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Berea, Kentucky. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And I knew like your passion, it just feels, I could just feel your passion through your posts and how you treat your crew and your team and your passions you have for the game. And I remember when George Bernard and the VP of the company you're working for, when they hired you, and I told him, I said, "You got a rock star. You got a rock star." And it's been wild watching you just grow in this industry and how far have you come. I mean, I'm a big fan of yours, big fan. So congrats and all that. I'm honored to have you here. So what advice would you have, Eric, for the homeowners out there? There's always that one guy in the neighborhood that wants to have that perfect lawn, but um, if you could give him any advice or her, any advice, what would that advice be?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing, this is coming back from being in professional sports and Division I college athletics. It's all about details, right?
Yeah.
So you can take care of your grass, and you can keep on your mowers, making sure your blades are sharp, right? If your
Hmm.
blades are sharp, you're getting a good clean cut. So
Hmm.
making sure that you're taking care of the equipment that you're using. If you're using a push mower, that's great. Get underneath the deck, clean underneath the deck, keep that clean, sharpen your blades every couple weeks, right? When
Yeah.
you're going out and you're edging, the sidewalks or your driveway, right? Good clean edges on that stuff. It's those little details that matter. Even when you get down, if you're doing landscaping at your house, right, freshen up your mulch, right? You can turn over your mulch. You don't necessarily have
Yeah.
to be buying it every year, right? You can
Yeah.
turn it over and add
Yeah.
a little bit to there. You don't need to go out there and reinvent the wheel and completely redo everything every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those little details matter. Um, Depending on where you're geographically located, right, and getting a feel for maybe the different flowers, the different annuals that do well in your area, doing some seasonal change outs at your own house. It doesn't take much, but you can add a little bit of extra color throughout the year. um, you know, this time of year, it's a great time for the pansies and that kind of stuff. Getting rid of the cabbage and the kale, that stuff in the wintertime, you can kind of put those things out there. Then when you get into your spring, I mean, you could in the fall you could put out the tulip bulbs that you're going to
Yeah.
show in the spring. Then you get into your summer annuals and stuff like that. So just and it can be pretty. You don't have to break the bank on that either, right? You
Yeah.
see you see some pretty elaborate things, but you don't need to get out and get too crazy with spending all kinds of money. It's just really what you want to put in, what you're trying to accomplish, what your focus is. But it's those detail things. I kind of rambled a little bit there and threw out a
No, no,
bunch of
no, no.
things,
That's
but
all good
but
advice.
but it
Season
is
change
it's
out,
yeah,
details and edging, details and the lawn, the way you stripe the lawn, so forth, taking care of your equipment. It's all good advice, because sometimes all that stuff, it can lack, sometimes, you hurry up, you get a job done and you don't pay attention to the small details. So no, I get it. And that's
yeah,
great advice. Great advice. Um, Last question, Eric, and this is a question I asked everybody, and you can think about this if you want, but I'll
sure.
give but what? Tell me a time, not me, but tell the homeowners a time that you learned that you got humbled, right? That like a lesson you've learned. I've got, I've got a lot of them. I mean, I could talk to you to probably 6 in the morning from lessons I've learned, but
Sure.
what's a lesson you learned you can pass on to the homeowners that they can take from a professional like you?
Um, Man, I've had a few, Kevin. Come on. I'm trying to
Just
think.
get
I
just give
mean,
me one because I know I have a lot
one
too.
one that jumps out to me. I don't know if it really is going to strike home with the homeowners, but um, coming into a situation and thinking I know a lot of things,
Mhm.
and coming in, let's and trying to reinvent the wheel. Right, I came in pretty brash, guns a blazing, wanting
Mhm.
to change things overnight.
Mhm.
um, and some people can adapt to that, but a lot of people don't adapt to that. And it actually set me back managerially and building that relationship with my crew early on, because I came in trying to do too much all at once.
Yep.
And
Yep.
instead of just building that relationship and getting to know my people and trying to see what makes them tick, right? See how they operate. I
Yep.
had all these ideas. I had all these ideas in my head that I was just going to come in and we, rule with an iron fist. And that I learned very, very quickly that, that is probably the worst thing I could have done.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and it's
We all
very,
gotten that t-shirt, Eric. And that's actually good advice. I mean, you can apply that to someone that's like to a homeowner that's going into into one of these neighborhoods that have
the
a
neighborhood
homeowner
association. Yeah.
association where they're
Uh-huh.
going to come in guns a blazing and thinking, they know what they're doing, and they can make things worse. They can cost them money. So a little bit of education goes a long way. And of course, relationships, building that up with your homeowner association for these homeowners that move into these type of neighborhoods could really play dividends. Just kind of do what the contract says or do what you're supposed to do, and then build off of that. So no, that's good advice. No, that there's nothing wrong with what you said there. So
Yeah. Just coming in and observing, right? And
yeah,
observing and kind of witnessing with your own eyes, but also too, what's really important is listening,
that's
right?
right. That's
Listening
right.
to those people, whether it's a homeowners association or if you are managing a small crew or whatever it is, and just getting a feel for how those people operate. And then you can take that and you can deliberate and you can formalize better ideas and tweak some things here and there. And then you're not reinventing the wheel, but then slowly over time you can integrate some new ideas and a fresh perspective. And it could be, you could end up saving a lot of money. You could bring, just enlighten people on new ways of doing things. Because in our industry, Kevin, and this, there is so many more than just one way to do things,
That's
right?
right.
You can go at it in so many different ways. You can have an extremely large budget and have a lot of money to work with, or you could have a really small budget and you've got to really think outside the box. And it's again, it just comes down to the observation and the listening to people and what makes them tick. And really, you know, in my situation, what the client wants, right?
That's
Listening to
great
what they
advice.
want.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the homeowners got to understand, that's really good advice you just gave there, Eric, because sometimes a homeowner has to understand, do they have pets? Do they have dogs? Do they have a recovering grass system? Do they just
Mhm.
want an aesthetic looking lawn? If there's not a high traffic or events on their lawn, like picnics or kids playing and so forth, so choosing the right cultivar is always important, right? So no, that
Yeah.
was good advice, and I appreciate having you on here today. I've been meaning to do this a long time, and it's an honor to have you with us today and on Sodcast. And do you have any last words here, Eric, for the homeowners before we go?
No, I appreciate you reaching out and asking me. Glad to help. Hopefully what I threw out there is going to be helpful to somebody.
No, we appreciate it, man. Well, there you have it, folks. Mr. Eric Harshman, one of the best professional guys I've ever met in the business. And remember, here at Sodcast, we talk turf and you grow the results. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Eric, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kevin.